Look at your hands. For a moment, forget your to-do list. Forget your bills. Forget the social pressure to be someone. Now, ask yourself a dangerous question. If hard work was truly the secret to wealth, why are the hardest working people on earth often the ones with the least amount of freedom? Think about the laborer working 12 hours in the sun. Think about the single mother working 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. Are they simply not grinding enough? Or is there something fundamentally broken in the story we've been told? The truth is, society has sold you a sweat paradox. They taught you that your value is measured by your exhaustion. They convinced you that the more you suffer, the more you deserve. But in the realm of the spirit and even in modern physics, exhaustion is not a sign of productivity. It is a sign of resistance. Today, we are going to dismantle the sickness of hard work. We are going to explore why wealth is not something you build with your muscles, but something you tune into with your soul. We often call the world system the matrix, but in reality, it is a collective constructed set of invisible instructions that we've been conditioned to follow. And today, we reclaim your sovereignty. When I use the word sovereign, I am talking about your birthright to be the supreme authority over your own life, to stop being a victim of the economy and start being the ruler of your internal world. Welcome to the end of the struggle. Welcome to the frequency of wealth. To understand why you're tired, you first have to understand the construct. The construct is the default setting of our world. It is the collection of rules, fears, and limitations that society has uploaded into your mind. Imagine your mind is like a highly advanced computer. From the day you were born, the world began installing software. This software contains instructions like, money is scarce, life is a battle, and you must earn your right to exist through heavy labor. We call this the code. Most people spend their entire lives trying to get rich while running a poverty program. Think about it. If your deep, subconscious code says, I am someone who has to fight for everything, then even if you win the lottery, your mind will find a way to create a fight. You will lose the money, or you will get sick, or you will find a new problem to solve. Why? Because the computer is just following the instructions. When we talk about rewriting the code, we aren't talking about working harder. We're talking about changing the software. Hard work becomes a spiritual sickness when it is used as a hammer to try and fix a software problem. You are exhausted because you are fighting your own hidden instructions. You are trying to build a mansion on a foundation made of sand. True sovereignty begins when you realize that the struggle isn't out there in the world. The struggle is a conflict between your desire for freedom and your programmed belief in limitation. Until you change the code, you will always be a slave to the grind. You've probably heard people say, wealth is a frequency. But let's make this practical for a moment. What does it actually mean to have a frequency or a vibration? Everything in this universe is vibrating energy. Your chair, your phone, and yes, even your thoughts. Think of a radio. If you want to hear the music on 104.7 FM, but your dial is set to 92.3, you will only hear static. It doesn't matter how hard you work on the radio. You can polish the speakers. You can plug it into a bigger battery. You can scream at the device, you will never hear the song until you turn the dial. In your life, your frequency is simply your emotional state. When you work out of fear of debt, fear of failure, fear of being not enough, you are vibrating at the frequency of lack. When you act because you have to, you are broadcasting a signal that says, I don't have it yet. This is the key to understanding vibration. You are literally broadcasting a signal into the world around you. And because the universe is a perfect mirror, it must give you exactly what you are broadcasting, more not having it. Alignment is what happens when your internal dial finally matches the station you want to hear. If you want a life of ease and wealth, you have to find that feeling of ease first. Most people wait for the money to arrive so they can finally feel at peace. But the physics of the soul are reversed. You must find the peace to attract the money. Before we dive into the science of how your observation literally changes the world, I want to ask you for a small favor. You are helping the algorithm find more people who are currently trapped in the grind and need to hear this truth. Every like helps us wake up more souls and help them reclaim their sovereignty. Thank you for being part of this mission. If this sounds too mystical, let's look at the hard science. In quantum physics, There is a famous discovery called the observer effect. Scientists found that subatomic particles, the tiny building blocks of everything you see, actually exist in a state of pure potential as waves until someone looks at them. The moment a human observes them, they collapse into a solid object. This is a revolutionary truth. Observation creates reality. Now, apply this to your bank account and your daily life. If you observe your finances every single day through the lens of, I am struggling, prices are rising, or I'll never get ahead, you are using your power as an observer to collapse your reality into that exact state of lack by working hard to escape poverty. You are focusing so intensely on the problem of poverty that you are forcing the particles of your life to stay frozen in that shape. You are like a scientist staring at a particle and wondering why it won't change, not realizing that your very gaze is what's keeping it trapped. To change the result, you have to change the observer. You have to stop observing what is and start commanding what will be. This isn't just positive thinking. This is sovereignty. Being sovereign means you are no longer a victim of what you see. You are the architect of the construct. You are the one who determines the form of the simulation by the frequency you choose to observe from. So, how do we practically stop the sickness of hard work? We use the law of assumption. This law states that to change your outer world, you must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must move from wanting to being. Wanting is a confession that you don't have it. If you are wanting money, you are vibrating at the frequency of not having money. But assuming is the act of stepping into the version of you that is already provided for. Imagine two people starting a new venture. The first person works 18 hours a day. They are stressed. They are begging for clients. And they are terrified of failing. Their frequency is desperation. Even if they make money, they will be too exhausted to enjoy it. People can feel their stress. It pushes opportunities away. The second person spends time in silence every morning. They feel the relief and the gratitude of their business already being a massive success. When they work, they only act when they feel a spark of excitement, a gut feeling. Their frequency is certainty. They move with the assumption that they are already legendary. The second person will always attract more wealth, with significantly less effort. Why? Because they aren't fighting the construct. They are informing it. This is what we call inspired action. 1 hour of inspired action taken from a state of joy and certainty is worth a year of forced, fearful struggle. You were never meant to be a pack animal. You were meant to be a creator. Now, let's build a bridge to your reality. I am not telling you to quit your job tomorrow and sit on the couch in a state of wishful thinking that would likely create more fear, which would lower your frequency even further. I am telling you to change the frequency of your action. If you are at a job right now, stop doing it because you have to. Start doing it from the state of, I am already wealthy, and this job is simply a temporary playground for my talents. When you change your internal state, the construct must respond. It is a law of physics. Either your current job will transform in ways you can't imagine, or a new door will open on opportunity that was always there. But you couldn't see it because you were too blinded by the static of your own stress. This is the end of the grind. You stop trying to force the door open with a crowbar, and you simply walk through the door that opens because you finally have the right key. And that key is your internal state. The sickness of hard work ends. The moment you remember who you are not a biological machine designed to grind until you break. You are a sovereign observer. You are an extension of the source, the infinite intelligence that created the stars and the oceans. Does the sun have to work hard to shine? Does the ocean have to hustle to move the tides? No. They simply are. Wealth is your birthright. It is the natural state of a universe that is infinite and abundant. The only thing keeping it from you is the noise of your own effort and the code of your own limitation. So, today, I invite you to put down the hammer. Stop trying to force the construct. Instead, go within. Tune your radio to the frequency of abundance. Feel the relief of it is done. If this message was a glitch you needed to wake up, then your journey back to sovereignty has already begun. Let's anchor this new frequency together right now. Comment below. I release the struggle. I am tuning into abundance. Read those words as you type them. Observe them as your new reality. Subscribe to anchor your consciousness with us. Every like, every comment, and every subscription helps this channel reach more people who are currently lost in the darkness of the grind. Stop the grind. Start the flow. Rest in the source.